What's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy Sabby. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Welcome to my channel, Self Mastery. Today's episode is about the benefits of listening to audiobooks. I know reading, in general has a lot of benefits, but the thing with reading is that people may not have time to read every single day. And so I make this video to share with you all why listening to audiobooks is something that is as powerful as reading. And if not more beneficial than reading, and I'll get into that a little bit later on with my own personal experience, but I will be sharing from a direct source I found online, and a lot of great benefits that this source shares, and I'll be sharing this with you all. Also, I want to say that when I get to my personal experience and how my life has shifted ever since my awakening, and then also, starting listening to audiobooks every single day, you guys will definitely benefit from that as well. So stay tuned, especially if you are someone that is interested in this topic, but also, if you just want to change your life, I guarantee, I promise you, I guarantee that if you can implement all of this, right, listening to audiobooks every single day, and I'll explain the why and the how, I guarantee that your life will never be the same. So stay tuned until the very end. There's a lot of useful information in this video. Without further ado, guys, let's get started. And I just want to thank you once again for tuning in to my channel, Self Mastery. But anyways, let me go ahead and read directly from this source I have found. So listen in as you can. Maybe you can play this while you're in the shower or driving your car, whatever you have going on. But benefit number one of listening to audiobooks every single day is definitely it improves your vocabulary. And it makes sense because, if you're listening to more advanced books, more complex, material, you're going to come across words you have never heard, and you're more likely to go look them up. And then once you know the definition, you can, use these words in your own language, in your own diction, to express yourself with more clarity and with more emphasis. And so obviously it makes sense that listening to audiobooks does improve your vocabulary. And a direct result of that also is that you become a better conversationalist, meaning you can hold, conversations with better vocabulary, but also you have more information in general, right? Because you've read so much, you've listened so much, so now you're more aware of certain topics, you're more aware of, knowledge that people may not have access to or may not be aware of. And, you with that knowledge can now enlighten them on whatever topic it is that you may be talking about. And also, not even that, another correlation of that is that it makes you more attractive in general, right? You want to talk to people that, have substance in their conversation, right? They're talking about something that is deep, something that means something, right? I mean, some people do, but I guess for me, for example, I'm not really a big fan of surface conversation, just talking about, current events, news, celebrities. I mean, yeah, there's a place for all of that, but sometimes you want to talk about deeper things like psychology or philosophy or maybe history. There's so much else you can, dive deep into. So it makes you more attractive, especially to, people that are more educated, people that are more intellectual. So that's another benefit of that. Listening to audiobooks results in you having a higher income. And this is scientifically proven because people that read an average of anywhere between 20 to 30 books a year on one particular subject, or, maybe it's their career that they're, studying more upon, maybe it's a particular field of study that they're involved in, they're generally, going to have more knowledge and information about that one particular subject. And, that means they can attain higher skills, higher, ways of thinking, ways of, logically deducing certain things about, whatever it is that they are studying. And guess what that means, right? They can be promoted, resulting in higher income. So it's all, correlatory effect. And that's something, that listening to audiobooks can naturally just result in. Going further, listening to audiobooks, like I mentioned before, right, you increase your general knowledge, and with having this knowledge, right, and then going through life experiences, you become wiser. So it also helps you attain wisdom as well. And this is something I've noticed as well in my own life, is that, I've had knowledge about something particular, and then going through a life experience, I've been able to really integrate that knowledge into my life. And then through that, I was able to, attain wisdom in that particular area. And there's many, many different areas and many different topics that, I can say this upon, but I'll leave that for another video. Anyways, moving forward, right? People who listen to audiobooks and or read, it helps them maintain and build their brain cognitive function, right? It helps them connect certain pathways in their brain that they normally couldn't if they weren't, reading or educating themselves or listening to audiobooks. And, all of that makes sense, because it's like, people that go to school, people that go, all the way through college up until maybe master's, whatever, they're more intelligent, right? They're more people that, you want to have conversation with. They're people that, they understand a lot of things more deeply than people that have not, attained that kind of education, whether it's through reading or audiobooks or whatever, right? Listening to lectures from professors, all of that, because all of that helps your brain grow, right? And it's just a proven benefit of listening to audiobooks, guys. So continue your education, continue reading, continue listening to audiobooks, because it's only going to help you get smarter, more intelligent. Further on, basically listening to audiobooks helps prevent Alzheimer's disease. And I know a lot of you guys are aware of that, where people start forgetting things. And so reading or listening to audiobooks will help you revive some of the stuff that, you forget as you age, or, things can happen. Alzheimer's disease has many different causes, but a way to keep your brain healthy, a way to keep your brain active, is to listen to audiobooks or to read or to play, some brain power games. There's a lot of apps nowadays you can download on your phone that can help you, keep your brain skills and functions intact and to keep them sharp. So always, keep that in mind as you start listening to audiobooks, that this is going to be a lifelong, benefit. Next is listening to audiobooks can help you reduce stress and also help you be more motivated and inspired when it comes to, just life in general. So when it comes to stress, think of listening to audiobooks as, something that can keep you on track, let you know that, hey man, you're not the only one that's going through this, and there are ways to get out of this, right? So maybe if you guys listen to self-development books or self-help books, sometimes, life can really bring you down. The problems of life, the stressors of life can really get to you. But when you listen to self-help books or self-development, personal development books, they can really keep you intact. They can really keep you on track, letting you know, hey man, like, you're not alone. If you do this, do that, everything will work out. And so, listening to the right information can sort of help you ease away your stress. And also, like I mentioned, it can motivate you. So personal development books definitely motivate you to do better, inspire you to achieve more, and to, fulfill your dreams and really go after your goals. Because sometimes, we give up. We give up because we don't have the proper motivation or proper inspiration. And so listening to audiobooks every day can help you in terms of, all of this: stress, motivation, inspiration. Not even that, listening to audiobooks can help improve your focus, especially when you're, tuning into the words that are being spoken through, the speaker or whatever, medium you're using to listen to. But it can help you focus in on what the author is saying, or what the, narrator is talking about. Also, it brings more clarity in your thinking. It brings more sharpness in how you think and how you move forward from there. And so, as you keep listening to audiobooks, you'll be more aware of, a lot of different things in your surroundings, in your personal life experiences in your direct environment. And so more focus, sharper, and clearer thinking. Moreover, listening to audiobooks can help you self-educate. So I know a lot of people, right, they stop learning after a certain point, maybe after college, and, listening to audiobooks, you can continue furthering your education. You can continue listening and learning more and more about, all the different subjects that life has to offer. And there's a multitude of them, right? An infinite amount of subjects you can literally learn on, right? There's biology, there's botany, there's chemistry, there's physics, there's history, and all of that. And talking about history is that listening to audiobooks can help you, learn more about different cultures, can help you learn about the history of those cultures, the history of the world, the accurate history in certain cases, because sometimes, we may not know all the details or all the facts about a particular, event or, particular, group of events that have happened in history. And listening to the right material can really help clear all of that, and you're more educated when it comes to learning about history in general. So keep that in mind, guys. And also listening to audiobooks can help you appreciate other people, other cultures, and in turn you develop more empathy for not only people around the world, but also for your peers, for people around you as well. And listening to audiobooks really does open up your heart, does really open up, your emotions to different situations that people have been in or different experiences people have gone through. Especially, think about one of my favorite, the Gulag Archipelago by Solzhenitsyn, right? He describes exactly what, the horrors these Russians went through in these gulags, right, in Serbia, pretty much, right? And also think about the Holocaust, all the books written on that. It's like you develop more empathy for life in general, for humanity in general. So think about all these things. Also, like I just mentioned before, listening to audiobooks means you can get a higher degree in terms of education. I mean, think about, if you're in college and you're listening to audiobooks, you're probably going to ace those tests because you're more knowledgeable about that particular subject. And with a higher degree, right, it means higher income, just like I mentioned before as well. And then also listening to audiobooks can improve your skills in critical analysis, logical thinking, and critical thinking. So keep all that in mind as you take on this new habit of listening to audiobooks. Another great benefit is listening to audiobooks means free entertainment for life. So maybe self-development, personal development, or even, listening to books about science, history, and all that. Maybe that's not for you. There's a lot of fiction books out there you can listen to, right? You can listen to a lot of entertaining books, a lot of good stories, a lot of good, novels written out there. So that's another great form of entertainment, and I think it's still more beneficial than watching TV or, doing all of that or being on social media, mindlessly scrolling. So keep all of that as we move forward. Also, listening to audiobooks, you're going to feel more empowered in terms of, it depends on the kinds of books as well. But, if you're listening to those personal development books, guys, you're going to feel more empowered about your life. You're going to feel like, I can do this, right? Especially if you have that go-getter, hustler mindset like I do. Listening to audiobooks can really bring that zest back in your life. And you can feel like, I can tackle anything. I can achieve anything. And that's really an important feeling to have, guys, especially if, you've been feeling down or powerless, and then bam, listening to audiobooks can really bring back life into you. So like I mentioned before, I found all this information from a source online. If you guys literally go on Google, you can type in benefits of listening to audiobooks and you'll find many different, sources online. Some are, backed by science that can really pretty much share all this information as well. But I do want to share a personal anecdote or a personal experience of my own understanding, realizations of listening to audiobooks every single day, because I had an awakening back in 2013, that time. And I would say from Around 2014 or 2015, I started listening to audiobooks like every single day. And many I have repeated over like countless times, right? Because one thing I want to say that I personally believe some of the biggest benefits of listening to audiobooks are: one, not everybody has the time to read. Not everybody has the time to open up a book and, just sit down for an hour or two and read, 50 pages, for example. And I get it, because we live in a very fast-paced world, and we have a lot on our plate. We have the work 9 to 5. We have other responsibilities. We have to feed ourselves. If you have kids, you have responsibilities for the kids. Then maybe the gym, whatever you have going on. There's a lot of things throughout the day that are happening all the time, and so we may not always have time to open up a book and read a book. And even though reading books, without a shadow of doubt, are amazing in itself, and they have their own benefits, but the best thing you can do is listen to an audiobook in that same time frame. And with audiobooks, you can multitask. So you can be listening to an audiobook while driving to and from work or to and from the gym. You could be at the gym on a Stairmaster or on the treadmill, literally listening to a book. You can be maybe working or walking in the park, listening to an audiobook. You can be listening to an audiobook on the beach, wherever, right? You can be listening to an audiobook doing anything pretty much that doesn't require too much of your attention. And so you can gain all this information while you're doing all of that. And that's something I want to share, is that one of my mentors, Brian Tracy, mentioned is that if you can read 50 books on one particular subject, it's equivalent of getting a master's in that field. So if you're reading 50 books on finance, it's like getting a master's in finance, or 50 books on, cell biology, whatever. It's like getting a master's in cell biology. And that's something that will really separate you from the crowd. It will really separate you from your peers. And not even that, I mean, higher income, like I mentioned earlier in the video, right? The more you are knowledgeable about one particular subject, the marketplace is looking for that. The marketplace is looking for people that are super knowledgeable, super, wise about one area of expertise, because that means, companies want to hire you because you can make more money for them. Therefore, you make more money. All that plays in. But also another thing I want to say is that with audiobooks, if you keep repeating this audiobook over and over again, right? Any book. I love listening to personal development, self-help books, motivational books, that really push the limit. And one day I will make a video on some of my favorite books that, really have shifted my mindset. Is the more you keep listening to a book over and over again. Sometimes I'll listen to a book 10, 15 times, just maybe that month alone, I'll just be listening to that one particular book. Because many books are, 2 to 5 hour range. Most of them, some are really, 9, 10 hours, but 2 to 5 hours, you can knock that out in, 2-3 days. And then you have the whole month left to maybe repeat that book. And the more you repeat it, the more it's going to shift paradigms. It's going to shift your thinking, shift, your belief systems. And that's crucial, especially if you're trying to change who you are, inside out. And that's really what it's all about. I'm not the same person I was back, even 9-10 years ago, because I've, heard so much, I've listened so much, I've heard countless of audiobooks, just so many, and not even that, but lectures, from professors like Jordan Peterson, or lectures from, other authority figures in whatever subject, whatever field. And it's really shifted my thinking, really changed my thinking in a lot of different, scenarios, different situations, different fields of study. So that's something I pride myself on, is being able to, listen to audiobooks every single day, because it's just beautiful. So some tools you can use to listen to audiobooks, Audible, really good, tool you could use to listen to audiobooks. They have like thousands of books, guys, on so many different subjects. There's YouTube. You can find a lot of free books on YouTube. Many people upload them. And then, there's many other places online, other services that offer audiobooks. But guys, if I were you, get on this right now, because the more you start listening to audiobooks, the more you start really, taking all of this in, all this information out there. Because look, there's so many geniuses in the world. There's so many, wonderful thinkers that have lived, that have, shared their wisdom, their knowledge, especially people that dedicated their whole lives on one particular field and, spent their whole lives in research and learning. there's so much out there. So it's like you should be absorbing all of that in. You only have this one life, and there's so much to learn. And literally, you'll be leagues ahead of your peers, leagues ahead of people in terms of knowledge and information. And that's something very, very important when it comes to being a self-educated man. You don't even need to go to college. I'm not putting that down for anybody if that's what you want to do. But you can literally learn everything that college has to offer, or whatever you want to learn, for example, just by listening to books, and that's something, it's available out there for free, at least, to a degree. But just wanted to share this with you guys, the benefits of listening to audiobooks. If I were you, start today, or, start tomorrow, but start now, guys, to start listening to audiobooks. It will forever change your life. But this is the video for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Give this video a thumbs up, give this video a like, share it with anybody you feel like could use this information, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more content. But I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time, take care and peace, guys. Wishing you a blessed and beautiful day. Thanks.